Welcome back to the channel. Today's investigation dives into a covert CIA program most people have never heard of, yet it impacted millions of ordinary Americans. Operation Chaos was launched during a moment of national anxiety. Its purpose? To hunt for foreign influence inside the anti-war and civil rights movements of the 1960s. But somewhere along the way, the mission crossed a line and began targeting Americans who were simply exercising their rights. As always, we will separate fact from speculation, peel back the layers of secrecy, and reveal what really happened behind the scenes. This is Operation Chaos. Chapter 1. The Turbulent 1960s. Operation Chaos was born in one of the most explosive eras in American history. Anti-war protests, civil rights marches, and counterculture movements were erupting across the country. In Washington, leaders feared chaos was spilling into the streets, and the CIA believed foreign governments might be quietly fueling domestic unrest. The Cold War had already created a climate of paranoia, where communist infiltration was seen as a constant threat. When public demonstrations grew louder, the Johnson administration sought answers. America was divided. The Vietnam War was escalating, and tensions between citizens and government were at breaking point. This environment became the perfect storm that allowed programs like Operation Chaos to take shape behind closed doors. Chapter 2. Birth of a secret domestic spy program. In 1967, CIA Director Richard Helms created a new, highly classified program known as Operation Chaos. Its purpose was officially to investigate whether anti-war activists inside the United States had foreign backing. Unlike the FBI's COINTELPRO, which focused on disruption, Operation Chaos was meant to gather intelligence and report findings. But there was a major problem. The CIA was legally barred from spying on Americans. Despite this limitation, the program rapidly expanded. Field agents began collecting data on student groups, civil rights leaders, journalists, and ordinary citizens with no foreign ties whatsoever. Under pressure from the White House, the CIA pushed the boundaries further than ever before, and accountability quickly evaporated. Chapter 3. The massive files they built. Operation Chaos began with a small list of suspected foreign agents, but ballooned into a giant domestic database. The CIA collected personal letters, travel records, political affiliations, and even the social networks of protest leaders. Eventually, the agency amassed files on more than 300,000 Americans, despite finding almost no evidence of foreign control. Operation Chaos analysts created detailed psychological profiles, tracked protest movements, and monitored campuses across the country. Every fragment of information, no matter how minor, was added to the growing intelligence system known as MH-Chaos. What began as a foreign counterintelligence mission evolved into broad surveillance of American citizens, conducted without warrants or public awareness. Chapter 4. Methods of surveillance and infiltration. Operation Chaos used a wide range of techniques, many of which pushed the limits of legality. CIA operatives infiltrated student groups, attended rallies undercover, and sometimes posed as activists to collect intelligence. The agency intercepted international mail, examined overseas bank transfers, and tracked Americans traveling abroad. Chaos analysts shared intelligence with foreign partners, including Britain and Canada, creating an international loop of surveillance. The CIA also collaborated with the NSA, which secretly monitored millions of telegrams sent in and out of the United States. This sweeping surveillance network blurred constitutional boundaries and raised serious questions about who the government viewed as a legitimate threat and who they were simply watching out of curiosity. Chapter 5. Relationship with the White House. The White House used Operation Chaos as a window into domestic dissent. Presidents Johnson and Nixon demanded constant updates on protest movements, often pushing the CIA to search harder for foreign influence even when none existed. Nixon, in particular, saw anti-war activists as political adversaries and wanted evidence to discredit them. This pressure created a feedback loop. The CIA expanded chaos, produced more reports, and justified its own existence, even though the core objective, foreign control of protest movements, repeatedly went unproven. At times, the White House treated Operation Chaos like a personal intelligence tool, giving it a freedom no agency should have possessed in a democratic society. Chapter 6: Exposure and the End of Operation Chaos. By the early 1970s, the program was becoming impossible to hide. Journalists, whistleblowers, and leaked documents began to expose the scale of domestic spying by the intelligence community. After Watergate, public trust in government collapsed, and Congress launched major investigations into intelligence abuses. The 1975 Church Committee became the turning point. It revealed how Operation Chaos violated the CIA's charter and illegally gathered information on hundreds of thousands of Americans. Under intense scrutiny, the program was quietly shut down. Many of its files were archived, redacted, or destroyed, leaving only fragments of the truth. But the scandal permanently altered public perception of intelligence agencies. Chapter 7: Legacy and Long-Term Consequences. Operation Chaos left a legacy that still shapes modern surveillance debates. The scandal led to new restrictions on intelligence agencies, including the creation of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA. Yet the program also demonstrated how easily fear and political pressure can override legal boundaries. Operation Chaos became a case study in mission creep, a project created for national security that ballooned into domestic monitoring. Decades later, programs like PRISM, warrantless wiretapping, and mass metadata collection echo the same concerns that surfaced in the 1970s. Operation Chaos serves as a reminder that once surveillance powers are created, they rarely disappear. They simply evolve. Chapter 8: Fact versus Fiction. What we know today. The full truth about Operation Chaos may never be known, but declassified documents provide clarity on key points. Evidence shows the CIA did not uncover significant foreign control of protest movements, despite years of investigation. Most targets were American citizens engaged in lawful political activity. However, some conspiracy theories exaggerate the program, claiming Chaos used assassinations, covert hits, or mind control tactics, none of which have supporting evidence. The real scandal lies in what is confirmed: a massive, unauthorized domestic surveillance effort fueled by political paranoia. Operation Chaos was not a Hollywood thriller. It was a quiet, bureaucratic machine that grew far beyond its intended purpose. Thank you for watching today's deep dive into Operation Chaos. The past often gives us warnings about the present, and this story is one of them. If you found this episode insightful, feel free to explore the rest of the series, where we expose historical cover-ups, government secrets, and true conspiracies that shaped the world. Your support helps keep this channel alive and independent. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and I'll see you in the next investigation.